Morning, guys. Look, this really does seem quite horrific. I understand around 8 o'clock last night, this neighbour's pit bull entered the house of this 4-year-old Ian Chol, who was staying with her 2 older brothers and her mum in their cousin's place, because their place had burnt down recently, not far from here. The dog attacked her 5-year-old cousin, and an older cousin who tried desperately to fight the dog off. It was eventually restrained, but it was too late. 4-year-old Ian was dead. Her 5-year-old cousin is now in hospital in a stable condition with facial injuries. The cousin's also being treated for bites to her hands and arms. Even police who attended the scene said it was distressing and chaotic. Police say it will probably be destroyed, and the owner could face charges. I mean, pit bulls are a restricted breed here in Victoria. They have to be registered, they have to be desexed, and so really the charges or penalties apply if it was known that this was a dangerous dog.
A 4-year-old boy is fast gaining a reputation for his work at his family's Pentecostal church in Mississippi in the US.
Hallelujah. I'm preaching about the one to God. Like a man's church to the man's church of Pentecost, Pentecost is going to do for the one Lord, the red, white, If the Lord has the words, He was on Pentecost of Anita's, Mississippi. The Lord is here tonight. And His name is Jesus. There's only one God. And then He's going to praise out His tears and just worship God. And then He's going to worship God. What the Lord is going to do it. That means God has to do it. And then Jesus has to do it. And then God is going to do it. And then Jesus. Whoa! I love preaching.
Canaan is the 3rd generation of preachers in his family. His father says that his Canaan probably mimics what others do. But he also believes he has a true calling. Can I get an amen? That is fantastic.
Colette Denigan is in to show off her latest looks at budget prices. That's next.
This has just been the greatest day. This water is so warm. Hit it, sound man!
It's raining men.
Small man at the top of a waterfall. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
In a television special, several beauty experts claim the 27-year-old's bottom was not natural on the royal wedding day. They believe she wore padding or special lift-enhancing pants to give herself a more rounded look. The poor girl, as a direct result of lower than expected customer satisfaction. Actress Jessica Alba has given birth to a baby girl. The 30-year-old star posted a message on her Facebook site saying her new bub with husband Cash Warren was born on Saturday. In keeping with the Tinseltown tradition of bizarre baby names, they have called her Haven Garner Warren. The couple also have a 3-year-old daughter, Honor Marie.
Australia's biggest workplace drug test.
Done drugs with judges.
Secretly testing Melbourne's places of power and influence. Parliament, police headquarters, courts, hospitals. You won't believe what we found.
Drug use in the workplace is out of control.
Passengers flying out of Brisbane Airport this morning are being told to leave home early, with striking workers set to cause delays. Cleaners and security guards will drive around the airport in a rally on wheels. About 60 cars will block domestic and international passengers set down areas demanding better pay. French actor Gerrard is in hot water after relieving himself in the aisle of a plane. The film star was waiting for his flight to take off in Paris, but a 15-minute delay proved too much. When flight attendants refused to let him out of his seat, he unzipped and went on the spot. The flight was delayed further when a clean-up crew was ordered. Witnesses say he looked as if he had been drinking.
Puts a new spin on wee-wee, does it?
There's one in every crowd, isn't there?
Weird. How weird is that?
That is a weird story.
In the area say they saw a low-flying plane and then heard a big crash, so they called police and emergency services who began the search, but it took them a while, over an hour and a half, to actually find the wreckage, finally in a paddock on McLennan Road in Wallop. That's just north of Horsham in the west of the state. Now, as I said, we don't know what caused the crash, but we do know that it was raining rather heavily at the time, so Sam, maybe that was a factor in this tragedy.
Busloads of protesters are on their way to Canberra today to rally against Julia Gillard's carbon tax. As Parliament resumes from its winter break, thousands of demonstrators will speak out against the government's proposed carbon plan. Organisers expect the protest to be bigger than the one held in Canberra earlier this year. The government will be fighting to get key pieces of legislation passed through Parliament this session, including the mining tax and the carbon tax.
New Zealand is set to radically overhaul its welfare system, starting with unemployed youth. Proposed changes have people under 25 in their sights, including young single mothers. The government says it can no longer simply hand over money and trust what young people will do with it. Some of the changes include having rent and other essentials like power paid directly by the government, a special payment card to buy food only to avoid money being spent on alcohol or cigarettes, and only a limited amount of money available to spend freely.
This is just heaven. 32 degrees we're going to experience today. It is just the winter wonderland like nothing else this country can offer this time of year. Isn't it spectacular? Look at the view over our very own private pool with an infinity edge.
Prime Minister says the health system needs to be strengthened to cope with the ageing of baby boomers and a rise in chronic illness. Authorities will today begin offloading 67,000 sheep which have been stranded aboard a broken-down ship in Adelaide since last Friday. New York firefighters have rescued a driver after his truck crashed through a wall 3 stories up. The sanitation truck was on the verge of falling from the building as it balanced at a 45-degree angle over the street below. Debris from the crash hit cars parked in the street. The truck driver was pulled to safety and wasn't hurt.
The European Space Agency is planning a mission straight out of the Hollywood blockbuster Armageddon. In the film, you'll remember Bruce Willis and his team attempt to blow up a giant asteroid that's hurtling towards Earth.
Hey, Harry.
Yeah, right.
You know, we're sitting on 4 million pounds of fuel, 1 nuclear weapon, and a thing that has 270,000 moving parts built by the lowest bidder. Oh, makes you feel good, doesn't it?
Yeah. One of their problems was they were unprepared. Well, that's about to change. A mission called Don Quixote is aiming to fire a satellite at breakneck speed into a test asteroid. The agency wants to see if it really can make an asteroid change course. Oh, Glenn Nagel from the NASA tracking station is in Canberra. Glenn, this is sensational. Now, will this Armageddon mission really get off the ground? We need it, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Unlike the Hollywood version where you strap Bruce into a rocket and hope he blows up the asteroid to save the world, that's actually a bad scenario. It means you've got lots of bits coming at you. What you want to do is actually go off and nudge these things out of the way, and that's what the Don Quixote mission is planned to do. 2-part spacecraft to have a projectile of about 500 kilograms smash into this asteroid at high speed and hopefully just sort of nudge it out of the way. But the problem is you need to know about these things far enough ahead of time to do anything about it at all.
Well, you've got to have a plan, and that's a good thing they're thinking about it. Are asteroids a big problem? Should we be watching out for anything else?
Well, there are tens of thousands of objects out there that cross the Earth all the time, but we know precious little about them. We've got a number of missions out there now studying asteroids. We've got a mission called Dawn that our CSIRO team out at the NASA tracking station is actually following right now. This is a thing about the size of Tasmania that's out there in space. Now imagine something that big coming towards our planet. It'll cause devastation. We need to know more about how big they are, how heavy, how dense, because if you don't know more about them, it'd be like, you know, throwing a ping pong ball at a car coming at you. It's not going to do much good.
Yeah, and because when you learn geography at school, they talk about ice ages and things like that, all caused by things hitting the Earth and sort of tilting us off our axis a bit.
Yeah, well, we think the dinosaurs, part of their demise 65 million years ago was because of an asteroid or a comet slamming into our planet. And things race past us all the time. And we are getting better at spotting these objects. But there are less people around the world watching for these things than, say, work at your local McDonald's store.
Hello again, Nicola here in the Lightway Sky Tracker 7, checking a run into town on the Westgate Freeway, and it's going to be great once you get over the bridge. Delay starting around Todd Road. It remains pretty heavy to the Kingsway exit.
6 cosmonauts in Moscow have broken the record for the longest space mission without actually ever leaving planet Earth. The crew broke the record by spending 438 days inside the Mars 500 module, located in a warehouse on the outskirts of the Russian capital. The project is testing the strain space travel puts on a crew. They're scheduled to emerge in November after 520 days together.
No, that's cheating, isn't it?
Oh, that's a lot.
Didn't they do that for the original moon landing? No, just joking. Just joking. Joking.
Controversial.